Hello, it's April from April's Home, and today I thought I would share with you my very simple recipe for Hershey Bar Pie. You will only need 3 ingredients to make this. You'll need a ready crust graham cracker crust, a 6-pack of classic milk chocolate Hershey bars, and a tub of Cool Whip, an 8-ounce tub of thawed out Cool Whip. The first thing I'm going to do is set up a double boiler. I don't have a double boiler, so I use a heat-proof bowl over a saucepan with lightly simmering water. Then I'm going to break up all of these chocolate bars into the bowl and let them melt all the way. You can melt this in the microwave. However, I find that it doesn't melt as evenly as when I do it in the double boiler method, so I do prefer that. I have made it both ways. Again, though, I just love the way it turns out when you actually just thoroughly melt it using a double boiler method. So I'm going to go ahead and get that set up and show you what that looks like. Okay, so I have just filled a saucepan here with a little bit of water. I'm going to go ahead and set this on the burner and get that just to a really light little simmering boil there. And then I will put my heat-proof glass bowl on top and break up the chocolate in here. Ideally, you would have a metal double boiler system. It's just something I've never had, and that's the way I learned to do it. If you are going to do it with a glass bowl, make sure it's heat proof. Make sure it's not having any cracks in it that could cause it to break. So I always like to be extra careful when I'm working with glass and heat, but in this case I've used this many times, so I know it works. So I'm going to go ahead and start heating the water up and breaking up all of my chocolate bars into the bowl. The way I like to break these up pretty easily is to break them up while they're in their bag here, while they're still packaged. I just go along and break them up like this. Keeps my hands quite a bit cleaner, and it seems to do a really good job of breaking them up. So I break it all up like that, and then I open it up and pour it into the bowl. Okay, so I have all of my chocolate broken up into little bits here. Sometimes if I see a little bit bigger one, I go through and kind of crack them up a little bit further. It just helps them to melt a little bit quicker and easier if they're in nice, small, fairly even-sized pieces. So I have that ready, and then I also emptied out my tub of Cool Whip, the entire tub, 8-ounce tub of Cool Whip, into a mixing bowl with a little rubber spatula here. And in a minute, I will go ahead also and open up my pie crust. The whole process is so easy and quick, so it's good to have everything out and ready to go. So I'll pop the lid off of that, and you'll want to save this lid. I like to put it on upside down. I remove this inner part here to store it in the fridge because it does need to set up for a couple of hours. So now I'm going to go ahead and take this over to my water here. It's starting to steam, so it should melt fairly quickly. I'm going to go ahead and get a little spoon and keep this stirring. I like to keep it stirring the whole time so that we have even melting here so it doesn't get grainy. So I'm going to go ahead and let this start cooking, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like as it starts melting up. Okay, so you can see the chocolate is already starting to melt. The water's not even at a low simmer. It doesn't take much heat to get this to melt, so we're just going to keep kind of stirring this around and making sure that it all melts through evenly. We want it completely melted. All of the chocolate needs to be completely smooth and melted. When this is done, we're going to take it right from the heat here and pour the melted chocolate into the Cool Whip and fold it all together until it's thoroughly combined, and then we'll transfer it to the graham cracker crust. So it's that simple. That is all there is to this very simple pie. It's extremely rich and delicious, and definitely a family favorite. So I'm going to keep working on this, and I'll come back and show it to you when it's a little bit more melted. Here we are. You can see it is melting really nicely and very quickly. This has only been a couple of minutes, just nice and slow. Be really cautious as this starts to heat up. Of course, you just always want to be careful when you're working with steaming or boiling water so you don't get a little steam burn. If any of the steam escapes, I like to have a little hot pad nearby to be able to lift this and transfer it over when I'm ready to have this all melted and transfer it over to the Cool Whip. So I'm just going to keep stirring this and moving it around until it is thoroughly melted. You can still see there's quite a few chunks in there that aren't all the way melted, but you can see how quick this process is going. So you can see here that it is thoroughly melted. Again, this only took a few minutes. Keep it stirring. Definitely don't leave it on the heat too long once it is thoroughly melted. And I'm going to double check there's no more lumps in this, and then I'll get this transferred over to the Cool Whip. Okay, so I have poured the hot chocolate into the Cool Whip here, and I'm just going to thoroughly fold this together until it is completely combined. I'm going to go ahead and set the camera down, and I will show you what that looks like when it's thoroughly combined. Okay, so here it is. You can see it's thoroughly mixed. You'll have this really even-toned, very light chocolatey color there. You do have to mix it pretty well, a little tiny bit more than folding, but you don't want to like overbeat it or anything like that and break down the Cool Whip. But you can see it's still a nice fluffy, evenly combined texture there where the Cool Whip and the chocolate is thoroughly combined. You also want to really make sure and mix the bottom, fold over the bottom so that the chocolate, which tends to kind of sink to the bottom, doesn't have a big pocket of chocolate near the bottom. So now I'm going to go ahead and transfer this to the pie crust. Okay, so I have transferred the mixture into the graham cracker crust. I'm going to go ahead and put a lid on this and chill this in the fridge. You want to let it thoroughly set up. So I usually make these a day in advance. Today I'm not. This is the morning of Father's Day, and I'm making it this morning for tonight's dessert. So it'll have a good, more than a few hours to chill in the fridge, but I think that it needs at least 3 hours, right around there. You just want to make sure it is set up. From start to finish, this entire recipe barely took 15 minutes. The dessert is incredible. Again, it's a family favorite. It's a very rich, delicious, chocolatey dessert, and is so easy to make. So I'm going to go ahead and get this chilled in the fridge, and later on, I'll slice a piece and show you what it looks like. Here is the lid. Upside down, put back on it so it protects it while it's chilling in the fridge. I just thought I would show you how I do that. So here's the Hershey Bar Pie all out of the fridge. It's been chilling all day, and I've actually made two, so I have one slice from the one that I served my family tonight for dessert, and this is what it looks like. You can see it really firms up here. Doesn't really move. It's really solidified, and that's what you're looking for with this pie, just nice and chilled all the way through so that the chocolate sets back up with the Cool Whip. So you can see here's a slice of the pie, just so you can see the texture here. Really nice and thick texture, and it's absolutely delicious. It is very rich, very easy to make, and really wonderful. Again, this is a family favorite and such an easy dessert to make. I hope you decide to give it a try. I hope you enjoyed hearing this super easy recipe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe for more videos from April's Home. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.